it's Jess. Welcome and welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw YouTube channel. In this video, we are discussing Season 2, Episode 5 of House of the Dragon. This episode was really filler. The rest of the season is really filler. It's just more exposition leading up to nothing. We got like one battle this season, and that was it, really. So let's just dive in and get right to this. And the fact that we gonna have to wait like so long for the next season, fortunately, there is a lot of TV out there. So I have things to occupy my time until then. Like, I don't know if y'all started watching The Penguin, but let me tell you something, that Colin Farrell, he's doing what needs to be done on that show. He is acting he showed up to work, okay? He showed up to work. But enough about that. House of the Dragon, House of the Dragon, House of the Dragon. So the people of King's Landing are starving. They are hanging in the child line good times. And the Greens feel like it's a good idea to slide through with poor Melissa's head just cruising through, and they think that this is like a sign of like, oh, look, we won. No, the people of King's Landing are like, this is a bad omen. And I could see why. Like, this doesn't look like a victory. This is the equivalent of your boss throwing you a pizza party when you're working below minimum wage and just really need a raise. Like, niggas is hungry. We don't care about this. We don't even want to see this. Okay? Roll some food down this street. Then we can talk. Like, think it through. So Aegon survived his drunk driving accident, but he is down really bad. So Aemon strolls in because Aemon is like nervous, like if he lives, he gonna tell, because like Aegon is aware that his brother basically tried to kill him in a dragon fight, like, which is crazy. So at the small council, Allison is like, I could just do it. I could just rule in his stead. I ruled while my husband was on the sick and shut in list. I could just step in here. And they're like, girl, it was one thing to help out when everything was chill, because during Viserys's reign, that's an ongoing theme this episode. During Viserys's reign, there was a lot of peace. And people can talk about that he was too soft and too progressive by making Rhaenyra his heir. But what they cannot say is that that man did not actually rule really well, because there were no wars. He did what needed to be done to keep peace. So they're like, it's one thing for you to have a length of hand, slid in doing some temp work when he was alive, kind of, sort of, and nothing bad was happening, but you don't know what to do in times of war. So Loris done turned on her, and Kristen Cole done turned on her. They were just like, it should be Aemon. So you see what being a pick-me will get you? Absolutely nothing. Bowing down to the altar of patriarchy wins you what? Nothing. Because they paid her dust, honey. So Aemon decides that he wants to close the gates to combat Rhaenyra's blockade. He's like, you know what? Can't nobody come, can't nobody go. Okay, so we just gonna close the gates. That means that people can't even leave to look for food, jobs, whatever, because he's not paying anyone. They have the silversmiths working, and all these people are still working and not being paid. And the Red Keep is basically hoarding whatever food they have, because you got to think about it. They need even more livestock to feed their dragons, let alone the people like the royals, the nobles that are living in the Red Keep. So the small folk are angry. So keep that in mind. They're pissed. They ain't got no food. Ain't shit funny or enjoyable when you hungry and you broke, okay? And we rebuke that. So Helena knows that something is up. Helena asked Aemon, like, Was this worth it? Was this worth the price? And he kind of looking shook like, bitch, what do you know? But we know Helena is like a seer. She be knowing. So Rhaenyra's small council is once again mad at her. Like, them men stay pissed at my girl. Like, they constantly just feel like she don't know shit and she can't do shit. And it's like, oh, your delicate constitutions as a woman. And I just appreciate the fact that it was like, y'all don't know very much about war, just like I don't know very much about war, because my dad, what led us through peace? You've never been around for a war either. You've been out here cruising on my daddy's goodwill as well. So if I don't know shit, you don't know shit. Just by virtue of being a man don't mean you know how to, you don't know war strategy. You don't know any more than I do. Y'all just want to go blow shit up. You don't really know like you think you know. And I appreciate that because, like, let's keep some perspective here. So Masaria advises Rhaenyra to send the small folks some food to win them over. Masaria, a girl who thinks women in tech, women in STEM, she gets it. Rhaenyra asked Corlys to be her hand, which is a really smart move. Corlys is, you know, he has the biggest navy. He's very skilled at strategy in terms of war. He has a good, strong name. And here's what, he done lost his wife and both of his legitimate children. That man needs something to do, okay? So Baela goes to him and it's like, hey, Rhaenyra wants you to slide through as her hand. And he like, damn, she ain't took enough from me. And Baela, my girl, I love me some Baela. Baela is like, I mourn my grandmother's death as well, but she was more than just your wife. She was a dragon rider. She went out doing exactly what she wanted to do, which was she wanted to go down in flames. And Baela was like, just like my mom did. My mom chose to end her life in fire, just like I would choose to do, because like that's who we are, that's what we do. We're Targaryens, we're Valerians, like we about that shit. You know, she was a ruler, she was her own person, and I appreciate her standing up for Rhaenys's agency, like as a person. I think that like women can, once we become, if we decide to become wives and or mothers, that's like all you can be. And it's like your being is defined by those titles, but you were someone before you became someone's wife and or mother. You will continue to be still like your own person. These are just like additions to you. So I really love that Baela went up for her grandmother. Like, respect her name. Corlys also says that he wants to make Baela his heir, but my girl said, I am blood and fire, and Driftmark should pass to air and sea. Here's my thing. Why have they not been preparing the actual heirs for like what they supposed to be doing? Like, if I can't even remember, oh, maybe Luke was the one that was supposed to be of air and sea. Because it just seems like, shouldn't you have him on a ship or something, learning how to do this shit? I don't know. So Rhaenyra decides that she's going to send Sir Alfred to reason with Daemon because she realizes that she needs Daemon to raise his army. But we don't know what the hell Daemon been doing in Harrenhal. He ain't answered the phone. He ain't sent no text messages. He ain't sent a Raven, a two-way, a IM, a DM, nothing. Ain't nobody heard from him. He ignoring everybody's phone calls. So they don't know if he riding for Rhaenyra or if he's riding for himself. So she tells Sir Alfred, like, go see if you can get some tea and report back. Let me know what's going on. So meanwhile, Jace goes to the Freys to negotiate with them because they need the twins, the bridge in order to like cross, and like all the things about Riverrun being like the stronghold of like that land, blah, blah, blah. Why do they want Harrenhal? Harrenhal is some shit. And, you know, Jace is like, well, shit, we'll give it to you, but you have to pledge fealty. Now, what's going to happen to poor Simon Strong? I feel like he's just kind of like a go with the flow type person. Like, Simon Strong would be like, you can have this shit. I'm out. Like, y'all going to cash me out so I can have somewhere to stay, or I can stay here. You could be the Lord of Harrenhal if you want to. You can take responsibility for this shit. It's a wreck. And it's cursed. So I'm just curious, like, who wants Harrenhal? So Rhaenyra is very proud that Jace helped out the cause, but she's frustrated that he left without her permission. And she's also frustrated that she can't go out to fight in her own name. Now, that's something that I like about Rhaenyra. I think it's a good thing that you don't want people just dying for you. And I think a lot about that in terms of like historical wars and even wars now. How prompted would people be to go to war if they physically had to put their bodies on the line? I feel like we'd be a whole lot more willing to just negotiate and have peace talks than just all out violence if every person involved in those decisions had to go to the front lines. That's just my suspicion. I don't know. What did Daenerys say? I'm but a young girl. I know nothing of the ways of war. Um, Here's what. Oh, so they Rhaenyra and Jace decide that, you know what, we need more dragon riders. So they decide that they are going to look for non-Targaryens who have Targaryen blood, because only someone who has Targaryen blood can receive a dragon, or a dragon will, you know, be receptive to them. Well, Valyrian. Is it Valyrian blood? Targaryen blood? Either way, you got to be some kin for the dragons to fool with you. So Damon is not of sound body and mind to be out here making these kinds of choices. That man has lost it. The cheese has slid off the cracker. Baby, you need to go lay down. You need to lay down, and you need to stop talking to the Hot Topic sales associate, okay? So he goes to try to intimidate the Brackens with a dragon, and they like, baby, we don't give a damn. We're still not pledging fealty. Like, basically told them to fuck off, which good for them. Like, those are some hard, strong people. However, he sends, I forgot old boy's name or whatever, and these people go and like decimate these people. Like, they go and fight with no honor. So the River Lords pull up like, we will not submit to a tyrant. Like, I don't know what the fuck you thought you was about to do. This shit was out of line. These kids done been violated. Women done been violated. The livestock is dead. They done messed up the crops. Like, what is going on? Like, y'all did entirely too much. We're not pledging fealty to a tyrant. It's just not going to happen today. And good for them for standing up for themselves. So there isn't even enough money to repair Harrenhal. And Simon Strong is like, baby, the bills are coming due. So Damon is like, well, shit, I'll front the money. But he is also continuing to try to demand that people call him king. And it's like, you are king consort. You are not going to take Rhaenyra's place no matter how hard you try. And you need to cut that shit out. And I appreciate Alice for calling him out on that. Like, no, you're not a king. The dissociative episodes where he was sleeping with his mom. Why did we need to see that? That was upsetting. I was like, what? Upsetting. I love something that Alice Rivers said. She said, in the name of power, it's the weak and the women who must endure. Again, things that I think about a lot. The collateral damage in the name of capitalism, in the name of imperialism and colonialism. Women and children. That's who must endure. Something to think about. Damon also insists while he's talking to Alice that people won't follow Rhaenyra because she's a woman. And I really do appreciate Alice always kind of like getting back with him. But I have to say, during this rewatch, it occurred to me that Alice might not be a real person, because when you look, I don't really see other people acknowledge her or engage with her. And I noticed, like, in the scene where Simon Strong like walks in, it's like he kind of looks where she is but almost looks through her. You don't see her engage with anyone else. So I'm beginning to wonder if Alice is actually a figment of his imagination. I didn't catch that the first time I watched the series when it was live. So y'all slide in the comments, let me know what y'all think about that. And that's it for this episode. It really didn't give us too much, so let me know what y'all think. We'll be back to wrap up this very lackluster season. And you know, when you go back and you rewatch Game of Thrones 1 or 2, 3 times a year like I do, House of the Dragon really cannot hold a candle. That was just such a once-in-a-lifetime series, except for the last 2 seasons that we don't talk about or acknowledge. It just, something's missing. It's not the same. It's not going to be the same. I need to accept that. But thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe, comment, share. And if you like what you saw here and want to help me purchase a dragon of my own, become a patron on my Patreon, where you can request a topic for me to discuss on this here channel of your choosing. All right, guys.